Chosen on, God is ready to amaze the world through you. Chosen ones, stop what you're doing right now. This isn't just another moment in your day. This is a divine interruption, a sacred pause in the chaos of your life, orchestrated by the Creator Himself. You didn't stumble across this message by accident. Heaven hunted you down, pinpointed your heart and whispered, "This is for you." Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that quickening in your spirit? It's not anxiety, it's awakening. God is ready to amaze the world through you. And this is your moment to step into a destiny so grand, it will ripple through generations. But here's the urgency. This divine moment won't wait forever. The clock is ticking, and heaven is holding its breath, waiting for your response. Will you rise, or will you let this sacred opportunity slip through your fingers like sand? You're here because you've been searching. Maybe you've been wrestling with questions that keep you up at night. Why does life feel heavier for you than for others? Why do your dreams burn brighter than the world around you can handle? Why have doors slammed shut when you've prayed with every ounce of faith you could muster? Chosen one, let me tell you something that will shift everything you thought you knew about your struggles. Every tear you've cried, every door that closed, every moment you felt forgotten. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God hasn't been ignoring you. He's been forging you in the fire of trials, not to break you, but to make you unbreakable. Your pain has been purposeful, shaping you into a vessel for divine purpose, ready to carry a breakthrough that will shake the earth. Think about it. You've always felt different, haven't you? Like you were born for something bigger than the ordinary lives around you. That's because you are. Before the stars were hung in the sky, before the oceans were poured into their boundaries, God pointed at you and said, "That one will amaze the world." Ephesians 1:4 declares, "He chose us in Him before the foundation of the world." Your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, etched in divine ink, sealed with a promise that you are no accident. You are a chosen vessel, a beacon of light in a world desperate for hope. But here's the truth that makes hell tremble. The enemy knows who you are. He's seen the scroll of your destiny unfurling in heaven, and he's thrown every obstacle in your path to keep you from stepping into your divine purpose. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a radiant door standing before you, its surface shimmering with gold, your name carved in letters that pulse with heavenly light. This isn't just any door. It's the gateway to your prosperous life, your divine provision, your personal transformation. Behind it lies everything you've prayed for, abundance that overflows, relationships restored, dreams resurrected, and a legacy that will outlive you. But this door has a timer, and its countdown is relentless. Isaiah 55:6 warns, "Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near." Why while? Because divine moments are fleeting, and this door won't stay open indefinitely. God is ready to pour out overflowing blessings, but He's waiting for you to act. You might be thinking, "But I've been through too much. I've failed too many times. I'm not ready." Chosen one, hear this. Your past doesn't disqualify you, it authenticates you. Your scars are not signs of shame, they're badges of divine preparation. Look at Moses. He was a murderer, a fugitive, a man who stuttered when he spoke, yet God chose him to lead a nation out of bondage. Look at Rahab, a woman the world called unworthy, yet her faith secured her place in the lineage of Jesus. Your mistakes, your setbacks, your moments of doubt, they're not the end of your story. They are the raw materials God is using to build a testimony that will inspire nations. Let me share a story to make this real. There's a woman named Carla, a single mother from Atlanta, who felt like life had chewed her up and spit her out. For years, she worked 2 jobs, barely making ends meet, praying for a breakthrough that never seemed to come. One night, exhausted and on the verge of giving up, she heard a whisper in her spirit, "Your struggle is your strength." Instead of surrendering to despair, she took a small step. She enrolled in an online course to learn bookkeeping, something she'd always been curious about. Within 6 months, she started a small business from her kitchen table. Today, Carla employs 3 people, owns her own home, and mentors other single mothers to find their own path to financial freedom. Her story isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. God used her brokenness to unlock a prosperous life, and He's ready to do the same for you. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel the fire of spiritual awakening igniting within you, consider supporting this divine mission through Super Thanks below. Your generosity isn't just a donation, it's a seed planted in the soil of divine provision, helping us spread this message of breakthrough to more chosen ones like you. Whether you give or simply receive, know that your presence here is no coincidence. You're part of a holy remnant, called to amaze the world. Now, let's address the lie that's been holding you back. You've believed that your struggles mean you're unworthy, that your delays mean God has forgotten you. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every closed door was God's protection, redirecting you to this moment. Every sleepless night was Him building your resilience. Every unanswered prayer was Him saying, "Not yet, but soon. And it will be greater than you imagine." Jeremiah 29:11 promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Your faith journey isn't a dead end. It's a divine detour leading to a destiny that will leave the world in awe. But here's where this gets urgent. God's plan for you isn't just about personal transformation, it's about global impact. You're not here to live a small life, scraping by, hiding your light. You're here to be a catalyst for change, a spark that ignites revival, a vessel through which God pours out abundance and healing. Think about David, a shepherd boy who faced a giant when no one else dared. He didn't just win a battle, he shifted the destiny of a nation. Your calling is no less significant. The world is waiting for you to step into your divine purpose, to unleash the wealth creation, the overflowing blessings, the unshakable faith that God has planted in your spirit. So, what's stopping you? Fear? It's the phantom guard standing between you and your destiny, whispering lies like, "You're not enough," or "What if you fail?" But fear is a liar, and it's time to expose it. 2 Timothy 1:7 declares, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest fears are the keys to your great. Every time you felt paralyzed, it wasn't because you were weak. It was because the enemy saw the power within you and tried to stop it. But today we're firing that guard. Today we're breaking that lock. Today, you're stepping into the authority God has given you. Let's make this practical. God isn't asking you to leap mountains in a single bound. He's asking you to take small, faithful steps. Here are 3 specific actions you can take right now to position yourself for your breakthrough. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your dreams. It could be starting a blog, applying for a job, or even praying for someone you've been avoiding. Put it on paper and place it where you'll see it every day. Second, reach out to someone you need to connect with. Maybe it's a friend you've drifted from, a family member you need to forgive, or a mentor who can guide you. Send that text, make that call. Don't wait. Third, start one project you've been delaying. It doesn't have to be perfect. Write the first sentence of that book, sketch the logo for that business, or research that course you've been curious about. These steps aren't random. They're divine assignments to activate your faith. If you're feeling the fire of this message, let heaven know you're ready. Type, "I am ready to amaze the world" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just words, it's a spiritual contract, sealing your commitment to your divine purpose. And when you comment, pray for the person who commented before you. Together, we're building a community of chosen ones, standing shoulder to shoulder, ready to unleash God's glory. Now, let's talk about what's on the other side of this door. Picture a life where financial freedom isn't a dream but a reality, where your relationships are healed, where your gifts are unleashed to bless the world. This isn't wishful thinking, it's the prosperous life God has promised. But it starts with a choice. Will you stay in the wilderness of doubt? Or will you cross the threshold into your destiny? The enemy wants you to believe you have forever to decide, but divine timing is precise. Noah had one window to build the ark. Esther had one moment to approach the king. You have this moment right now to say yes to God's plan. Let me share another story. Marcus, a teacher from Chicago, felt stuck in a job that drained his soul. He'd always dreamed of starting a non-profit to help kids in his neighborhood, but fear kept him paralyzed. One Sunday, he heard a sermon about stepping out in faith. That night, he wrote a mission statement for his non-profit. The next day, he called a friend who connected him with a local pastor. Within a year, Marcus's organization was serving 50 kids, with grants pouring in. His fear became his fuel, and God turned his small step into a movement. What small step is God asking you to take today? You might be wondering, how do I know this is my moment? Because your spirit is leaping right now, because tears are welling in your eyes, because something inside you is saying, "This is for me." That's the Holy Spirit confirming what heaven has already declared. You are chosen, you are called, you are ready. But readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to move. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Your faith journey is the bridge to your breakthrough, and every step you take builds it stronger. As we stand at this sacred threshold, I want you to imagine the scroll of your destiny unfurling in heaven. Every prayer you've prayed, every dream you've held, every promise God has spoken, it's all written there, glowing with divine light. But that scroll needs your signature. It needs your yes. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. The world is waiting for the miracles you'll unleash, the lives you'll build. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? Chosen ones, let's linger at this sacred threshold a moment longer, because what's unfolding right now is no ordinary encounter. The air around you is charged, electric with divine anticipation, as if the heavens themselves are leaning in, whispering your name. You're not just watching a video. You're standing at the edge of a spiritual awakening, a moment where the veil between heaven and earth is paper thin. God is ready to amaze the world through you, and the door before you, radiant with your name carved in celestial gold, is creaking open. But here's the question, burning in the heart of this divine moment. Will you let fear keep you tethered to the familiar, or will you step into the prosperous life God has prepared? A life of abundance, purpose, and unshakable faith. Let's unravel the lie that's been woven into the fabric of your doubts. You've been told that your struggles are proof of your unworthiness, that the weight you carry is a sign God has overlooked you. But chosen one, nothing could be further from the truth. Your trials are not random. They're divine assignments, meticulously crafted to forge you into a vessel of breakthrough. Every moment you've felt invisible, every door that slammed shut, every prayer that seemed to echo unanswered, it was all part of God's plan to prepare you for this exact hour. Psalm 66, 10-12 declares, "For you, God, tested us. You refined us like silver, but you brought us to a place of abundance." Your refining fire wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal the divine provision waiting on the other side. Picture this: a vast, ancient scroll unfurling in the courts of heaven, its edges glowing with light that outshines the stars. Your name is written there, not in fleeting ink, but in the eternal blood of the Lamb. Every step of your faith journey, every tear you've shed, every dream you've dared to hold, it's all recorded, a testament to your resilience. This scroll isn't just a record, it's a divine blueprint, mapping out a destiny that will leave the world in awe. But this blueprint requires your participation. God isn't asking for perfection, He's asking for your yes. He's not demanding you have all the answers. He's inviting you to trust His divine purpose, to believe that your personal transformation is the key to unlocking overflowing blessings. Let's make this real with another story. Meet Aisha, a nurse from Houston who felt trapped in a cycle of burnout and debt. For years she prayed for financial freedom, but the bills kept piling up and her spirit grew weary. One evening, scrolling through her phone, she felt a nudge to attend a local entrepreneurship workshop. She almost ignored it. Fear told her she wasn't business material. But she took a small step and signed up. There she met a mentor who helped her start a side hustle, selling handmade candles inspired by her faith. Within a year, Aisha's candles were in local stores and she paid off half her debt. Today, she's mentoring other women to pursue their dreams, turning her pain into a platform for prosperity. Aisha's breakthrough didn't come from a lightning bolt. It came from a single step of faith. What step is God nudging you to take today? Now, let's revisit those 3 actionable steps to anchor your faith in practicality. If you haven't started them, don't wait. God moves when you move. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your divine purpose. Maybe it's launching a podcast, registering for a class, or simply praying with intention for a loved one. Make it specific and place it where it reminds you daily of your calling. Second, reach out to someone who can be part of your journey. It could be a colleague with wisdom, a friend you need to reconcile with, or even a stranger whose story inspires you. Connection is the currency of breakthrough. Third, start that project you've been postponing. It doesn't need to be perfect. Write the first line, sketch the first design, or research the first step. These steps are your declaration to heaven that you're ready for abundance, ready to amaze the world. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, let the world know you're claiming your destiny. Type, "I am ready to amaze the world," in the comments below. Your words are more than a comment. They're a spiritual marker, a vow that you're stepping into your prosperous life. And as you comment, lift up the person who commented before you. Together we're forging a community of chosen ones, a holy army rising to shift the atmosphere with faith and courage. Let's talk about the fear that's still lingering, the shadow trying to pull you back. Fear is clever. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "What if you're not enough? What if this door leads to more pain?" But fear is a counterfeit, a distortion of the truth. Joshua 1:9 commands, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Your fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signpost, pointing you to the very place where your breakthrough awaits. Every giant in Scripture faced fear. Esther trembled before the king, yet saved a nation. Peter faltered on the water, yet walked where no man had. Your fear doesn't disqualify you. It's the raw material God uses to craft your victory. This video's unique angle is clear. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has spent years convincing you that your insecurities are chains, but God sees them as chisels, carving out a masterpiece. What if the thing you're most afraid of, starting that business, forgiving that person, speaking your truth, is the very action that unlocks your divine provision? What if the trembling in your hands is heaven's signal that you're on the verge of wealth creation, of stepping into a legacy that will echo through eternity? The world isn't waiting for a perfect you. It's waiting for a courageous you. A you who dares to trust God's plan over human limitations. Let's paint another picture. Imagine standing in a vast field, the horizon ablaze with the colors of dawn. Before you is a bridge, its stones shimmering with promises etched in light. I will never leave you. My plans are to prosper you. All things work together for your good. This bridge leads to the life God designed, a life of financial freedom, restored relationships, and purpose that sets souls free. But the bridge is narrow, and fear stands at its entrance, daring you to cross. Chosen one, you don't cross by banishing fear. You cross by taking its hand and letting faith lead the way. Every step you take strengthens the bridge. Every act of courage widens the path for those behind you. You might be wondering, what does this prosperous life look like? It's not just about money, though God's abundance includes divine provision. It's about peace that anchors you in storms, joy that bubbles up in the mundane, and impact that outlives you. It's about waking up each day knowing you're walking in your divine purpose, that your life is a living testimony of God's faithfulness. Romans 8:28 assures us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Your calling isn't a maybe, it's a mandate, a divine contract signed in heaven, waiting for your earthly agreement. Let's ground this in another story. There's a man named Javier, a mechanic from Phoenix, who always felt a pull to teach young men in his community about trade skills. Life kept getting in the way: bills, family drama, self-doubt. One day, after losing a close friend, he realized time wasn't guaranteed. He took a leap, offering free weekend workshops in his garage. Word spread, and soon he was mentoring dozens of teens, some who'd been on the brink of trouble. Today, Javier's program is funded by local businesses, and he's seen graduates start their own careers. His small step of faith turned a dream into a legacy. What dream is God asking you to act on today? As we stand here, the door of your destiny still open, I want you to feel the weight of this moment. Not a weight of burden, but a weight of glory. 2 Corinthians 4:17 says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Your troubles aren't the end. They're the prelude to a glory that will amaze the world. But glory requires action. It requires you to trust that God's timing is perfect, that His promises are sure, that His plan for you is unstoppable. The enemy wants you to believe you're too late, too broken, too small. But God says, you're right on time, beautifully restored, and infinitely significant. Let's talk about the impact you're destined to make. Your breakthrough isn't just for you. It's for the generations behind you, the souls beside you, the world around you. When you step into your divine purpose, you become a beacon, a proof that God still moves mountains, still parts seas, still turns ashes into beauty. Your story will inspire someone to hope again, Your courage will embolden someone to act. Your faith will ignite revival in places you've never seen. But it all starts with this moment, this choice, this yes. What if the next step you take is the one that unlocks everything God has promised? Chosen ones, let's pause and breathe in the magnitude of this moment. The atmosphere around you is shifting, charged with a divine electricity that pulses through your spirit. You're not just hearing words, you're standing at the precipice of a spiritual awakening, where the heavens are parting to reveal a destiny so vast it could light up the darkest corners of the earth. God is ready to amaze the world through you, and the door before you, glowing with your name etched in radiant light, is wide open, beckoning you to cross the threshold. But here's the truth that makes this moment urgent. This door is tied to divine timing, and its window is narrowing. Will you step into the prosperous life God has prepared? Or will you hesitate, letting fear steal what heaven has already declared yours? Let's unravel another layer of the lie that's kept you tethered to doubt. You've been told that your life is ordinary, that your struggles are evidence of insignificance. But, chosen one, your life is anything but ordinary. You are a divine masterpiece, crafted with intention before the foundations of the world. Ephesians 2:10 proclaims, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Every moment of your faith journey, every rejection, every heartbreak, every sleepless night was a brushstroke in God's plan, painting a story of breakthrough that will leave the world in awe. Your pain wasn't random. It was divine preparation, sculpting you into a vessel for abundance and personal transformation. Imagine this: a vast celestial library, its shelves stretching into eternity, filled with scrolls that hold the stories of every soul. Your scroll is there, its pages shimmering with promises of divine provision, wealth creation, and a legacy that will echo through generations. But this scroll isn't complete. It's waiting for you to write the next chapter with your courage, your faith, your yes. God isn't asking you to be flawless. He's asking you to be faithful. He's not demanding you have every step mapped out. He's inviting you to trust His divine purpose, to believe that your life is the key to unlocking overflowing blessings that will touch nations. Let's ground this in a story that feels like yours. There's a man named Daniel, a barista from Seattle, who always felt a pull to create music that inspired hope. Life kept throwing obstacles. Rent was due, his guitar was pawned, and self-doubt whispered he wasn't good enough. One rainy night, he stumbled across a community open mic event. Fear told him to stay home, but a spark of faith pushed him to go. He performed a song he'd written in secret, pouring his heart into every note. A local producer in the audience was moved and offered to record a demo. Today, Daniel's music streams on platforms worldwide, and he's using his platform to mentor young artists. His breakthrough wasn't a miracle from the sky. It was a single step of faith that God multiplied into a prosperous life. What small step is God whispering to you right now? Let's revisit those 3 actionable steps to keep your faith practical and your destiny within reach. If you haven't acted on them, don't delay. God's promises activate when you move. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your divine calling. It could be starting a journal to capture your vision, signing up for a skill-building workshop, or praying boldly for a dream you've buried. Make it tangible and keep it visible. Second, connect with someone who can support your journey. Maybe it's a friend who believes in you, a family member you need to forgive, or a professional who can open doors. Reach out today. Don't let fear win. Third, begin that project you've been postponing. It doesn't need to be perfect. Write the first word, create the first draft, or take the first research step. These steps are your spiritual contract with heaven, declaring you're ready to amaze the world. If this message is igniting a fire in your soul, let heaven and earth know you're claiming your destiny. Type, "I am ready to amaze the world" in the comments below. Your declaration is a beacon, signaling to the spiritual realm that you're stepping into your divine purpose. And as you comment, lift up the person who commented before you in prayer. Together, we're building a community of chosen ones, a holy alliance that will shift the atmosphere with faith, courage, and love. Now, let's confront the shadow that's still lurking: fear. It's the enemy's oldest trick, a fog that creeps in to blur your vision of God's plan. It whispers, "You're too old. You've failed too much. This isn't your moment." But fear is a fraud, and we're exposing it today. Isaiah 41:10 declares, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Your fear isn't a barrier, it's a bridge to your breakthrough. Every hero of faith faced fear. Gideon hid in a winepress, yet led an army to victory. Mary trembled at the angel's words, yet carried the Savior. Your fear is the raw material God uses to craft a testimony that will shake the earth. This video's unique angle shines brightly. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has convinced you that your insecurities are shackles, but God sees them as stepping stones to your divine provision. What if the thing you're most afraid of, launching that ministry, reconciling that relationship, sharing your gift, is the very action that unlocks financial freedom and a legacy of impact? What if the trembling in your heart is heaven's signal that you're on the cusp of wealth creation, of stepping into a purpose that will inspire generations? The world doesn't need a fearless you. It needs a faithful you. A you who dares to trust God's promises over human doubts. Let's paint another vivid scene. Picture a river, its waters sparkling under a sky ablaze with stars. On one side, the shore is familiar, safe, but barren, marked by the footprints of your doubts. Across the river lies a land of abundance, where dreams bloom like wild flowers and purpose flows like streams. A bridge spans the gap, its stones inscribed with God's promises. "I am your provider. I make all things new. I have called you by name." Fear stands at the bridge's entrance, daring you to cross. But chosen one, you don't cross by defeating fear. You cross by walking through it, letting faith light the way. Every step strengthens the bridge. Every act of courage paves the path for those who follow. What does this prosperous life look like? It's not just about wealth, though God's divine provision includes resources to fulfill your calling. It's about peace that anchors you in chaos, joy that sustains you in trials, and influence that transforms lives. It's about waking each morning knowing you're walking in your divine purpose, that your life is a living proof of God's faithfulness. Philippians 4:19 assures us, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." Your calling isn't a dream. It's a divine assignment, a mandate to amaze the world with God's glory. Let's anchor this with another story. Meet Sarah, a teacher from Miami who always felt called to write a book about her journey through grief. Life kept delaying her, raising kids, paying bills, battling self-doubt. One day she attended a writing workshop on a whim. Fear told her she wasn't ready, but she took a step and shared a draft with the group. A publisher in the room saw potential and offered guidance. Today, Sarah's book is in bookstores, helping thousands heal from loss. Her small act of courage turned a dream into a movement. What dream is God urging you to act on today? As we stand before this radiant door, feel the weight of its invitation. Not a weight of pressure, but a weight of purpose. 1 Corinthians 2:9 promises, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love Him." Your struggles are not the end, they're the prelude to a glory that will amaze the world. But glory demands action. It demands you trust God's timing, believe His promises, and move in faith. The enemy wants you to think you're too late, too broken, too small. But God says you're right on time, beautifully restored and infinitely chosen. Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's for the world around you. When you step into your divine purpose, you become a spark that ignites revival, a voice that restores hope, a light that guides the lost. Your story will embolden someone to pray again. Your courage will inspire someone to act. Your faith will shift atmospheres you'll never see. But it all hinges on this moment, this choice, this step. What if the fear you're facing is the very gateway to your divine provision? The key to unlocking a destiny that will amaze the world. Chosen ones, let's hold this sacred space a little longer, because the ground beneath you is trembling with divine possibility. The air is thick with the presence of heaven, as if angels are circling, their wings stirring the atmosphere, whispering, "This is your moment." You're not just listening to a message, you're standing at the edge of a spiritual awakening, where the curtain of eternity is pulled back to reveal a destiny that could set the world ablaze. God is ready to amaze the world through you, and the door before you, shimmering with your name carved in celestial light, stands open, inviting you to cross into a prosperous life of abundance, purpose, and unshakable faith. But here's the urgency that pulses through this divine encounter. This door is tethered to God's perfect timing, and its window is fleeting. Will you step into the divine provision awaiting you, or will you let fear anchor you to a life of what-ifs? Let's dismantle another lie that's been chaining your spirit. You've been told that your dreams are too big, that your struggles are proof you're not meant for greatness. But chosen one, your dreams aren't too big. They're God-sized, planted in your heart before time began. Your struggles aren't a curse, they're a crucible, refining you for a breakthrough that will echo through eternity. Psalm 139:16 declares, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Every step of your faith journey, every betrayal, every closed door, every moment you felt alone, was scripted in heaven's book, preparing you for a personal transformation that will leave the world in awe. Your life is no accident. It's a divine assignment to amaze the earth with God's glory. Picture this: a vast throne room in heaven, its floor like a sea of glass reflecting the radiance of God's presence. At the center is a table, and on it lies a scroll, its edges glowing with promises of wealth creation, overflowing blessings, and a legacy that will outlive you. Your name is written on this scroll, not in fading ink, but in the eternal light of God's love. This scroll isn't just a record of your past, it's a blueprint for your future, detailing every miracle, every breakthrough, every moment of divine purpose waiting to unfold. But this blueprint demands your partnership. God isn't asking for perfection, He's asking for your trust. He's not requiring you to have every answer. He's inviting you to step into His divine plan, to believe that your life is the key to unlocking a prosperous life that will inspire nations. Let's make this tangible with a story that mirrors your own. There's a woman named Elena, a graphic designer from Denver, who always felt called to start a creative studio that uplifted her community. But life kept piling on. layoffs, health issues, and a voice in her head saying, "You're not ready." One evening, scrolling through social media, she saw a post about a local small business grant. Fear told her she'd never win, but a spark of faith pushed her to apply. She spent a week crafting her proposal, pouring her heart into it. To her shock, she won the grant, and today, Elena's studio employs 5 artists and donates art to local schools. Her breakthrough didn't come from a sudden windfall. It came from a single act of courage that God turned into financial freedom. What act of courage is God nudging you toward today? Let's anchor ourselves in those 3 actionable steps, the practical keys to unlocking your destiny. If you haven't started, don't wait. God's promises come alive when you act. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your divine calling. It could be sketching a business idea, praying for a specific breakthrough, or journaling your vision for the next year. Keep it where you see it daily, a reminder of your commitment. Second, reach out to someone who can walk with you. Maybe it's a mentor with wisdom, a friend you need to reconcile with, or a colleague who shares your passion. Connection is the soil where breakthroughs grow. Third, start that project you've been delaying. It doesn't need to be flawless. Write the first sentence, create the first post, or take the first step toward learning a new skill. These steps are your spiritual signature, declaring to heaven that you're ready to amaze the world. If this message is setting your heart on fire, let the spiritual realm know you're claiming your destiny. Type, "I am ready to amaze the world" in the comments below. Your words are a declaration, a beacon that signals to heaven and earth that you're stepping into your divine purpose. And as you comment, pray for the person who commented before you. Together, we're forging a community of chosen ones, a holy remnant rising to shift the world with faith, courage, and unity. Now, let's face the fear that's still trying to hold you back. It's a cunning adversary, slipping into your thoughts like a shadow, whispering, "What if you fail? What if you're not enough?" But fear is a liar, and we're exposing it in the light of God's truth. Deuteronomy 31:6 commands, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Your fear isn't a wall. It's a doorway to your breakthrough. Every hero of faith faced fear. Abraham left his homeland with no map, yet became the father of nations. Ruth stepped into a foreign land, yet became part of Jesus' lineage. Your fear is the canvas God uses to paint a testimony that will shake the earth. This video's unique angle burns brightly. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has convinced you that your doubts are dead ends, but God sees them as detours to your divine provision. What if the thing you're most afraid of, starting that ministry, sharing your story, pursuing that dream, is the very action that unlocks a prosperous life? What if the trembling in your spirit is heaven's signal that you're on the verge of wealth creation, of stepping into a legacy that will inspire generations? The world doesn't need a perfect you. It needs a persistent you. A you who dares to trust God's promises over human limitations. Let's paint another vivid scene. Imagine a mountain, its peak piercing the clouds, bathed in the golden light of dawn. At its base, a path winds upward, its stones marked with promises. "I am your strength. I make a way in the wilderness. I have plans to prosper you." Fear stands at the trailhead, daring you to climb. But chosen one, you don't climb by banishing fear. You climb by letting faith lead, step by step, until the summit reveals a view of abundance you never imagined. Every step strengthens your resolve. Every act of courage carves a path for those behind you. What does this prosperous life look like? It's not just about money, though God's divine provision includes resources to fulfill your calling. It's about peace that holds you steady in storms, joy that spills over in the mundane, and impact that transforms lives. It's about waking each day knowing you're walking in your divine purpose, that your life is a living proof of God's power. John 10:10 promises, "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." Your calling isn't a distant hope. It's a present reality, a divine mandate to amaze the world with God's glory. Let's ground this with another story. There's a man named Liam, a carpenter from Charlotte, who always felt called to build homes for the homeless. Life kept delaying him, debts, family responsibilities, and a voice saying, "You're not qualified." One day he volunteered at a local shelter and met a contractor who shared his vision. Liam took a step, sketching plans for a tiny home project. That connection led to funding, and today Liam's non-profit has built 20 homes, giving families hope. His small act of faith turned a dream into a legacy. What dream is God urging you to act on today? As we stand before this radiant door, feel the pulse of its invitation. Not a pulse of pressure, but a pulse of promise. 2 Corinthians 9:8 assures us, "And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." Your struggles are not the end, they're the prelude to a glory that will amaze the world. But glory requires movement. It requires you to trust God's timing, embrace His promises, and act in faith. The enemy wants you to believe you're too late, too broken, too ordinary. But God says you're right on time, beautifully restored, and extraordinarily chosen. Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's for the souls around you, the generations behind you, the world crying out for hope. When you step into your divine purpose, you become a spark that ignites revival, a voice that restores faith, a light that guides the lost. Your story will inspire someone to dream again. Your courage will embolden someone to act. Your faith will shift atmospheres you'll never see. But it all hinges on this moment, this choice, this step. What if the fear you're facing is the very gateway to your divine provision? The key to a destiny that will amaze the world. Chosen ones, let's dwell in this holy moment where the fabric of time seems to pause and the heavens draw near. The atmosphere is alive, humming with a divine frequency that resonates deep within your spirit. You're not just watching a video, you're standing at the threshold of a spiritual awakening, where the veil between the earthly and the eternal is parted, revealing a destiny so radiant it could illuminate the darkest corners of the world. God is ready to amaze the world through you. And the door before you, aglow with your name etched in shimmering light, stands wide open, beckoning you to step into a prosperous life, overflowing with abundance, purpose, and unshakable faith. But here's the urgency that pulses through this sacred encounter. This door is bound to divine timing, and its window is closing. Will you cross into the divine provision God has prepared, or will you let fear chain you to a life of unfulfilled promises? Let's shatter another lie that's been holding your heart hostage. You've been told that your past mistakes define you, that your failures are a verdict on your worth. But, chosen one, your past is not your prison. It's your proving ground. Your failures are not the end of your story. They're the foundation of a testimony that will inspire nations. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Every moment of your faith journey, every loss, every stumble, every moment you felt forsaken, was woven into God's divine plan, preparing you for a personal transformation that will leave the world in awe. Your scars are not signs of defeat, They're badges of divine preparation, marking you as a vessel for breakthrough. Imagine this: a celestial courtroom, its walls echoing with the songs of angels, its air shimmering with the glory of God. At the center stands a podium, and on it rests a scroll, its pages radiant with promises of wealth creation, overflowing blessings, and a legacy that will outlive you. Your name is inscribed on this scroll, not in temporary ink, but in the eternal fire of God's love. This scroll isn't just a record of your life. It's a divine contract, outlining every miracle, every victory, every moment of divine purpose waiting to unfold. But this contract requires your signature. God isn't asking for flawlessness. He's asking for faith. He's not demanding you have every step planned. He's inviting you to trust His divine purpose, to believe that your life is the key to unlocking a prosperous life that will transform the earth. Let's bring this home with a story that feels like yours. There's a woman named Naomi, a librarian from Boston, who always felt called to open a community center for at-risk youth. But life kept piling on: medical bills, family drama, and a voice whispering, "You're not enough." One Sunday, she overheard a conversation about a local grant for community projects. Fear told her she'd fail, but a spark of faith urged her to act. She spent nights drafting a proposal, pouring her heart into every word. To her amazement, she won the grant, and today, Naomi's center serves dozens of kids, offering mentorship and hope. Her breakthrough didn't come from a sudden miracle. It came from a single step of courage that God multiplied into financial freedom. What step of courage is God whispering to you today? Let's hold fast to those 3 actionable steps, the practical keys to activating your destiny. If you haven't begun, don't delay. God's promises ignite when you move. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your divine calling. It could be starting a prayer journal, researching a new skill, or reaching out to someone who needs your encouragement. Keep it visible, a daily reminder of your purpose. Second, connect with someone who can support your journey. Maybe it's a friend who shares your vision, a family member you need to forgive, or a professional who can guide you. Relationships are the soil where breakthroughs grow. Third, start that project you've been postponing. It doesn't need to be perfect. Write the first sentence, create the first sketch, or take the first step toward your dream. These steps are your spiritual declaration, signaling to heaven that you're ready to amaze the world. If this message is setting your soul ablaze, let the spiritual realm know you're claiming your destiny. Type "I am ready to amaze the world" in the comments below. Your words are a beacon, a vow that echoes in heaven and earth, proclaiming your commitment to your divine purpose. And as you comment, lift up the person who commented before you in prayer. Together we're building a community of chosen ones, a holy alliance that will shift atmospheres with faith, courage, and love. Now, let's confront the fear that's still lurking in the shadows. It's a subtle enemy, weaving doubts into your thoughts, whispering, "What if you're too late? What if you fail again?" But fear is a fraud, and we're exposing it in the light of God's truth. Psalm 27:1 proclaims, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Your fear isn't a dead end. It's a doorway to your breakthrough. Every hero of faith faced fear. Moses doubted his voice, yet led a nation to freedom. Esther trembled before the king, yet saved her people. Your fear is the raw material God uses to craft a testimony that will shake the world. This video's unique angle shines like a beacon. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has convinced you that your insecurities are shackles, but God sees them as stepping stones to your divine provision. What if the thing you're most afraid of, launching that business, forgiving that person, sharing your gift, is the very action that unlocks a prosperous life? What if the trembling in your heart is heaven's signal that you're on the cusp of wealth creation, of stepping into a legacy that will inspire generations? The world doesn't need a fearless you, it needs a faithful you. A you who dares to trust God's promises over human doubts. Let's paint another vivid scene. Picture a forest, its trees towering under a sky ablaze with stars. A path winds through the shadows, its stones glowing with promises etched in light. I am your provider. I make all things new. I have called you by name. Fear stands at the path's entrance, daring you to walk. But chosen one, you don't walk by banishing fear, you walk by letting faith guide. Step by step, until the forest opens to a clearing of abundance you never imagined. Every step strengthens your resolve. Every act of courage paves the way for those behind you. What does this prosperous life look like? It's not just about wealth, though God's divine provision includes resources to fulfill your calling. It's about peace that anchors you in chaos, joy that spills over in trials, and impact that transforms lives. It's about waking each day knowing you're walking in your divine purpose, that your life is a living proof of God's power. Philippians 4:13 assures us, I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Your calling isn't a distant dream. It's a present reality, a divine mandate to amaze the world with God's glory. Let's anchor this with another story. There's a man named Caleb, a chef from Atlanta, who always felt called to open a food truck that served the homeless. Life kept delaying him, debts, a demanding job, and self-doubt. One day, he volunteered at a soup kitchen and met a local business owner who shared his vision. Caleb took a step, sketching a menu and business plan. That connection led to a small loan, and today, Caleb's food truck feeds hundreds weekly, with donations pouring in. His small act of faith turned a dream into a movement. What dream is God urging you to act on today? As we stand before this radiant door, feel the weight of its invitation. Not a weight of burden, but a weight of glory. Isaiah 61 commands, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Your struggles are not the end. They're the prelude to a glory that will amaze the world. But glory demands action. It demands you trust God's timing, embrace His promises, and move in faith. The enemy wants you to believe you're too late, too broken, too small. But God says you're right on time, beautifully restored, and infinitely chosen. Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's for the souls around you, the generations behind you, the world crying out for hope. When you step into your divine purpose, you become a spark that ignites revival, a voice that restores faith, a light that guides the lost. Your story will inspire someone to dream again. Your courage will embolden someone to act. Your faith will shift atmospheres you'll never see.